By the end of this video, you will finally understand why your loved one keeps relapsing, even after some time of sobriety, and what's actually happening in the prefrontal cortex that makes recovery. So most people don't understand is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for your decision making and judgment. This is the part of the brain that's responsible for long-term thinking, consequences, and even self-control. This is the exact functions addiction disrupts. I don't know how many families have told me that he promised he would never do it. She promised me she would stay clean and sober. And I have to explain that knowing better and being able to do better are two different brain functions. So I compare the prefrontal cortex to a brake system. When it's undeveloped or damaged, the brakes don't work, even if the person wants to stop. The prefrontal cortex doesn't fully develop until mid to late 20s. If someone starts using at 12, 13, 14, they're using substances while the brain is still wiring itself. That wiring gets disrupted. I don't know how many young men I've worked with who started using substances at 13 and now struggle with impulsivity and control even in adulthood. Imagine building a house, but someone keeps knocking it down. They keep knocking down the scaffolding before the structure is actually refinished. Substance use also damages the prefrontal cortex. Addiction literally weakens the brain's ability to make rational decisions, which increases relapse risk. How many families that I've heard say, why would they go back to something that destroys everything? And what I explain is because the part of the brain that stops destructive decisions is the part addiction attacks. So I use a visual, a dimmer switch. Substance use turns down the brightness of the prefrontal cortex. The person can't see consequences clearly. Early substance use doubles this impact on the brain. An undeveloped brain plus substance use equals a perfect storm for addiction and relapse. How many people in recovery started young and how their families never realized the long-term neurological impact? Why does many families misunderstand relapse? Families think relapse is disrespect, selfishness, or not caring, but it's brain science. There are many families in Tough Love Detox Skool that can finally breathe for the first time. And when they learned this, it really changed things. Once you understand the brain function, you stop taking relapse personally and instead dealing with them strategically. So what I want you to take from this is relapse isn't a choice. It's a brain function issue. It's a family and brain disease. The prefrontal cortex plays a massive role in impulsive judgment and self-control. Early substance use plus brain development equals increased addiction risk. And family needs education to not blame. So I invite you to join the Tough Love Detox Skool to learn the science, the strategies, and the emotional tools to support their loved ones without losing themselves. If you're a family and recovery support and want to understand addiction on a deeper level and finally stop feeling confused, angry, or helpless, join Tough Love Detox Skool. This education can save your loved one's life.